Hey everybody, it's Mr. Sanito, and I know this room is really dark, so I hope that light helps. Wait, is this better? Ooh, I'm scary. Ooh, is this better? Ooh, what about this? Ooh, scary. Yeah, well, you know what that gets? Hold on, I know you guys have been waiting for me to do this. Wait, let me see if I can find it here. I gotta turn this on. You know what that gets? Watch this. How about Yep, I know you guys have missed that because I miss doing that. All right, well, today I've got another book for you. Are you ready? Let's switch the camera on and see what we've got for today. I'm not even sure. Let's see. Oh, here it goes. Can you see that? Hold on. Let me get that into focus. I think we got it. Okay. Today's story is the last book in the group of books that you've been hearing that have been written by Nicola Davies. Remember her? She wrote One Tiny Turtle, Bat Loves the Night, and Just Ducks. And by now, I'm sure you remember that one of the things she likes to do is tell the story with the big words and then give you information with the little words. So be sure to watch for that. Now, take a look at the cover. Why do you think Nicola Davies decided to write a book about blue whales? I wonder. Well, as you can see, the title of this book is called Big Blue Whale. The author is Nicola Davies, and the illustrator is Nick Malland. What do you notice on the cover of this? Look carefully. Do you see the people? If you notice the people, it helps you understand how big the whale is. Let's read to find out more about blue whales. And as you listen, remember to notice how Nicola Davies writes in this book. She gives us some important information here. Let's read. For every blue whale alive today, there were once 20. People hunted and killed so many of them that fewer than 10,000 remain. Now, blue whales are protected, and hunting them is banned. That means you can't do it. So in some places, their numbers are growing very, very slowly. Still, you could sail the oceans for a year and never see a single one. Wow. What does Nicola Davies want you to know about blue whales before you start reading? Sounds to me like she really wants us to think about how there's not a lot of them left. Big Blue Whale, Nicola Davies, illustrated by Nick Malland. Ooh, look at this picture. Before I even get started, do you notice the other animals? The blue whale is big, bigger than a giraffe, bigger than an elephant, bigger than a dinosaur. The blue whale is the largest creature that has ever lived on Earth. Look at that. And it says here, female blue whales are a little bigger than the males. Blue whales can grow to 100 feet long and weigh 150 tons. That's heavier than 25 elephants or 115 giraffes. Ooh, that's heavy. Now keep your eye on the people. It says, reach out and touch the blue whale's skin. It's springy and smooth like a hard-boiled egg, and it's as slippery as wet soap. Look into its eye. That would be its eye right there. It's as big as a teacup and as dark as the deep sea, so its eye would be that big, something like that. Just behind the eye is a hole as small as the end of a pencil. The hole is one of the blue whale's ears, so maybe about that big. That would be the size of its ear. The hole is one of the blue whale's ears. Sticking out ears would get in the way when the whale is swimming. Wow. The blue whale lives all of its long life in the sea, but it is a mammal like us, and it breathes air, not water. From time to time, it has come to the surface to breathe through the blowholes on top of its head. Blue whales, let me move over here first. It says, when it breathes out, it makes a great misty puff as high as a house. This is the whale's blow, and you can see it from far away. You can hear it too, a great poof. And if you are close enough, you can smell it, as the whale's breath is stale and fishy. So the whale's breath smells like fish. Now down here, here's the extra information. It says blue whales can live for about 70 to 80 years. And down here it tells us a blue whale can stay underwater for 30 minutes or more. But on long journeys, it usually comes to the surface for air every 2 to 5 minutes. Now, let's stop for a moment. I bet you've already figured out that at the end of this, I'm going to ask you to write down 3 things that you learned about whales. Let's think for a moment. What have you already learned about whales? I have to make sure I'm doing this right. It says, take a look inside its mouth. Ooh. Don't worry, the blue whale doesn't eat people. It doesn't even have any teeth. It has hundreds of baleen plates instead. They're the long, bristly things hanging down from its top jaw. The whale doesn't need teeth for biting or chewing because its food is tiny. Do you see what she did with the text right there? She made it really small because the food that it eats is really small. It's tiny. Now, it says a blue whale can have as many as 790 baleen plates in its mouth. Baleen is tough, bendy stuff like extra hard fingernails. The blue whale eats krill, pale, pinkish, shrimp-like creatures the size of your little finger. Look how tiny the krill are. Do you wonder how such a little animal can fill up the big whale? Let's keep reading to find out. It says over here, billions of the krill, billions of them, live in the cold seas around the North and South Poles. In the summer, there can be so many that the water looks pink. So that's when blue whales come to the polar seas to eat. It takes an awful lot of tiny krill to feed a great big blue whale. But the whale doesn't catch them one at a time. It has a special way of swallowing whole swarms of them at once. First, it takes a huge gulp of krill and salty seawater. So it opens its mouth and it just takes a whole bunch of water in, a big gulp. There's room for all this because the whale's throat unfolds and opens out like a vast balloon. Look at that. It looks like a balloon. Then it uses its big tongue to push the water out between its bristly baleen plates. So it uses the tongue to push the water back out. The water streams away and leaves the krill caught on the bristles like peas in a sieve. Now, all the whale has to do is lick them off and swallow them. So it's like it takes all the water in. There's krill in the water. It takes it in. It traps the krill and pushes the water out. And then the whale licks the krill and swallows them. Wow. It says a blue whale can have as many as 88 folds of skin in its throat. So if I were to count these lines here, there can be up to 88 of those. And on this side, it says a blue whale can eat about 30 million krill in just one day. That's 3 big truckloads. Imagine 3 giant trucks. That's a lot of krill. And this is how the blue whale spends the summer, eating krill and getting fat. But in the fall, the polar seas freeze over. The krill hide under the ice where the whale cannot catch them. So the whale swims away from the icy cold in the winter storms. In summer, the blue whale grows a thick layer of fat all over its body. This fat is called blubber, and it's a food store for the winter when the whale eats very little. What are those? Do you know what animals those are? I think they're penguins. Day after day, the blue whale swims slowly and steadily toward its winter home. Its huge tail beats up and down to push it along. Its flippers steer it left or right. For 2 months and more, the whale swims until at last it reaches the calm, warm seas near the equator. That's the equator. The equator is the middle of Earth. And when the whale gets there, it stays all winter. And we've got a lot of extra information here, so let me see what I've got. It says some blue whales spend their summers around the South Pole and swim north to the equator for the winter. So this would be the South Pole, and then they swim up here for the winter to stay warm. Others live around the North Pole, so this is the North Pole, and they swim south for the winter. But when it's winter at the South Pole, it's summer at the North Pole. So the two groups of whales never meet. Now, remember, use the illustration to help you understand how the blue whale travels. Here's the North Pole, and there's the South Pole. And the whales that are up here don't get to meet the whales that are down there. And there the blue whale mother gives birth to her baby. And I'm going to turn back. So when we left off with the story, the whales were swimming to the equator. And that's where the blue whale mother gives birth to her baby. Ah, now I understand. Sometimes, readers, you have to go back and read things again to make sure you understand them. I do that a lot. And there, the blue whale mother gives birth to her baby where storms and cold weather can't hurt it. The blue whale's baby slithers from her body, tail first. Gently, she nudges it to the surface to take its first breath. Then the baby dives beneath her to take its first drink of milk. So here's the baby, and there's the mother. And it says male and female blue whales mate in winter and then part. They leave each other. Babies are born about a year later. A blue whale baby is 23 feet long at birth. So that would be, gosh, maybe a little bit bigger than our carpet at school. It drinks more than 150 gallons of milk a day, sucking it from the teats tucked into its mother's belly. All through the winter, the blue whale keeps her baby close. It feeds on her creamy milk, and it grows and grows. In spring, the two whales return to the polar seas to feast on krill together. But by the fall, the young whale is big enough to live on its own. So mother and young whale part. That means they leave each other and begin the long journey back to the equator. Remember the equator? We saw that right here, the middle of the earth. A blue whale may travel from the polar seas to the equator and back every year of its life. Sometimes it will swim with other blue whales, but mostly it will swim alone. Now let's think for a minute. What new information have you learned about the mother and the baby blue whales? I bet you've learned something so far. Yet the blue whale may not be as lonely as it seems, because sometimes it makes a hum. Now, you know what a hum is. It goes, that's a hum. But the whale's hum is a hum so loud and so low that it can travel for thousands of miles through the seas to reach other blue whales. Only a very low hum could travel so far, and only a very big animal could make a hum so low. Perhaps that's why blue whales are the biggest creatures on Earth, so that they can talk to one another even when they are far apart. Who knows what they say? "Here I am" would be enough. Here's the whale making its hum. And it says, adult blue whales make their hums in deep water. It's much colder than near the surface, which helps the hum travel a long way. It travels miles and miles. Didn't it say thousands? Yeah, it said thousands of miles. Oh. It says because in the vastness of the green seas, because the green seas are so, vastness would be how large it is. They're so large that even a blue whale is small and hard to find. Oh. Now, stay tuned because I'm going to add one more video and we're going to do a little bit of writing. All right? Sit tight. Okay, now we're ready to write. And of course, if you don't already have your writer's notebook out, you'll need that. And pencil, maybe some crayons. Here we go. I gave you a little question to get you started. And it says, what are 3 things you learned about blue whales? Now, let's see. What words could I give you? What words could I spell for you that might help? Okay. Well, I don't have to give you the word whales because that's there. And of course, blue whales. So you've got that. Oh, here's a good word for you. Let me move this up. Okay. See if you can read this word. Equator. Remember, it's that imaginary middle line in the earth where it's very warm for the whales. Let's see, what other words could I give you to help you out? How about this? See if you can read this word before I finish it. Baby. because we learned about baby whales. Ooh. What about the food that the whales eat? That was called krill. That's a good word. Let me write that one for you. Krill. That's a good word. Let's see. I'm going to try and find one more. Oh. What about... Let's see. Well, this is kind of a tough one. We'll do an easy word. How about hum? Hum. Now, of course, after you're done with your writing, you can draw a picture. Now, I started on my picture. I didn't finish. This picture is a little bit harder for me, so it's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be. So I started by saying, okay, I'm just going to draw the mouth of the whale. So what I did is I kind of drew the mouth here and here, like that. And then I put the top of the head up like that. Okay. I gave him a little eye. And then remember the folds in his skin? Well, that's what these are, the folds. Now, I'm going to take away all the blue. That was just to show you what I did. So I'm going to take away all the blue, and I'm going to finish drawing them. And let me see. Oh, yeah. Remember these? I can put these. These are called, and I have to go back and look in the book. I need to go back and reread. They were called baleen plates. So I'm going to draw these in, because that's how the whale catches the fish, or the krill, I should say. Okay. And I think he's got that on top. And I could draw people, but I'm going to draw first some water. That can be the water. Like that. And maybe it's time to color. Yeah, it doesn't have to be fancy. Let's see. I'm going to go for a dark blue. And then maybe down here, I could go for a lighter blue. And if you don't have it, that's okay. Just use your imagination. I think that's pretty good. Oh, the water. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, we'll color in the water a little bit. How about that? There you go. Okay. You do your drawing. You do your writing and take a picture, send it to me in ClassDojo, okay? Have a good day, guys.